Welcome to Celestial Half Hour.
Celestial Half Hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.
And a lot of Nigerians are putting their support for Natasha. If they should see anybody that actually talk in favor of Akpabio, they will bash the person and all of that. We understand the grievances of Nigeria. We know everything that Nigerians are facing, the kind of hardship that the government actually put Nigerians into, the multidimensional and abject poverty that they put on Nigerians. We understand the fact, but the truth still remains the same. You know, Natasha-Apabio has finally said that she will not release an evidence without the investigation being kicking off, and the same thing is what she's standing on now. And the matter is in court, and the court said that either of Natasha or Akpabio should come out to media to discuss the issue again, that since the issue is in court, that they should wait for the court ruling and all of that. And it is in the court that Natasha will definitely provide the evidence that she claims that she have and all of that, and Akpabio will say his own part of the story, because Akpabio will be issued a subpoena whether he likes it or not, and Akpabio will be brought to court to defend himself and all of that. Now everywhere is boiling right now. What a lot of Nigerians did not expect, what a lot of people did not expect, Akpabio have finally done it. Nobody ever see it coming. Nobody ever expect that Akpabio can come this far to see what he actually says. So I will play the full video. You will see things where it goes. Come and see confession. A lot of people were thinking Akpabio cannot come out to confess and all of that, but Akpabio faced the multitude and he confessed everything out. You will see things for yourself. So you can share the video, just share it. If you can't share it, just like it. First of all, let me play what Adola Fire said, how she exposed a particular Akpabio senator. As far as this Natasha case is concerned, you see exposure. Come and see the disgrace of Akpabio senator. The senator that said he pulled all his support for Akpabio, he pulled his life for Akpabio when Natasha was actually accusing Akpabio. Come and see the disgrace. The secret you don't know about him is finally out. And I said that's not enough. The judge actually came out. The human rights activist lawyer have said everything that you didn't know. Then during the video, you will hear the confession of Akpabio. Everywhere boss. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Cannot make this up. Move closer, move closer. Hey, Nigerians, have you heard that the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, the man that threw out Auntie Natasha's case of sexual harassment against the Senate president? Have you heard that the man was disbarred in the America? Abeg, let me kneel down for my father before we continue. Uncle Ejadio, is it true that you were disbarred in America? Hey, he said you were once a lawyer in New York City. That is my city. But that you did some machine when as a say there were 2 petition charges of professional misconduct against you. Uncle, misconduct. Wait. Isn't that why they suspended Auntie Natasha? Benny, we'll come back to that. You were disgraced in America. Uncle, they said you engaged in a pattern and practice of failing to cooperate with the grievance committee's investigation and neglect of a legal matter entrusted to you by a client. Is this true? So therefore, as of 2010, in fact, let me tell you exactly how they wrote it. They said effective immediately, Neda Bernard Imaswe, that is our father, is disbarred. And his name is stricken as in Fagile. From the role of attorneys and counsellors at law. Wow, uncle. So you were cancelled as a lawyer. You now move back to Nigeria and you repackage yourself in Nigeria. I'm very sure that this man has been telling people. I had my own law firm in New York City. Yeah. It's just that I decided to move back to Nigeria to serve my country. I'm trying to give back. My country needs me. In fact, some media companies are also reporting that you were involved in fraud in New York. Allegedly, don't quote me. You'll be doing like this. You'll be wearing shoulder pad. You see, this is why voters need to be researching candidates very, very well before casting their votes. People of Edo South, you did not Google this man at all. To add salt to injury, they now made him the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics. I'm like, ethics, just imagine. Ethics, privileges, and public petitions. Ethics, where did you find it? Someone who allegedly has no ethics, uncle, even if they dash you chairman of that committee, you should have said no. You did not need to give them any reason. You should not say, no, I humbly object, I humbly reject. But you went and put your head where you know that you have a history in the America. You think it will be buried just because you have repackaged yourself in Nigeria. Haba, it doesn't work like that. You should have said no. To think that the same you will now be the one to recommend in your capacity as the chairman of ethics committee. He was the one that recommended suspending Auntie Natasha for what he called gross misconduct. According to him, he said that Senator Natasha-Apabio brought the presiding officer and the entire Senate to public opprobrium. Want to say, boo? He spoke grammar. Opprobrium means harsh criticism. Basically, he recommended suspending her because the public criticized Akpabio. Wow, as in, clap for yourself, uncle. Hey, suspending a lawmaker for misconduct. Did you not check the mirror? You did not look in the mirror. Oh yeah, mirror. You are there judging other people's ethics, other people's character. Is your conscience not pricking you? By the way, where were you when your colleagues were collecting bribes, allegedly, before passing budget? Allegedly, but some lawmakers confessed that they collected 8 million naira from each university in Nigeria as a condition for passing their 2025 budget proposals. It was all over the news in January. This same ethics committee, your committee did not see that. Uncle, you did not probe anyone or suspend anyone. Abi, he also collected money. I don't know. But now you have liver to throw out a woman's sexual harassment case without any investigation. You said it was dead on arrival, and then you now accused her of misconduct because the public criticized you and your godfather. Where is thunder when you need it? You that should be keeping a low profile with what you have in your closet. You even said 6 months suspension. I out here, Johnny, why are you not afraid? Even though you know it is against the law to suspend a lawmaker for more than 14 days. I mean, what exactly does this man even have against Auntie Natasha for him to recommend 6 months? Not only that, he also recommended taking away her security aids, her official vehicle. She should not be paid for 6 months and no allowances. He even said she must not be seen anywhere near the National Assembly for the next 6 months. The one that is baffling everybody is that he also recommended that for the next 6 months, Auntie cannot introduce herself as a lawmaker anywhere in the world. We were like, it was INEC that declared her a lawmaker. Who are you to impeach her or to say she can no longer be a lawmaker? You know, we were baffled. We were like, why was this one added? Ashe, the man was just borrowing a script from his own court judgment in the America. I mean, if you look at the documents, they literally listed it that Neda Imaswen must desist and refrain from practicing law in any form, either as principal or agent or clerk or employee of another. Number 2, they said he must not appear as an attorney or counselor at law before any court, judge, justice, board, commission, or other public authority. The man copied and pasted his own judgment and reframed it for Auntie Natasha. With due respect, uncle, in case you're watching, that was not a smart move. Allah, I'm not abusing you, of course. You know I'm the only one that will tell you the truth. I'm just telling you my observation of this equation. You know, looking at this critically with my koro eyes inside the medulla oblongata of my photosynthesis. I don't know who advised you, but that was not very smart. You know, I have to tell you the truth. I have to. You cannot say that somebody that INEC declared a senator cannot introduce herself as a senator just because of your suspension. And the funny thing is, Akpabio literally bought into every of his recommendations, except that his staff should be paid in the meantime. Even when other senators voted against her having to write an apology letter before she would be reinstated, Akpabio still went ahead and he said the ayes have it when it was very obvious. Everybody could hear that the nays had it. Honestly, we don't know exactly what this senator has against Senator Natasha. So maybe it was Akpabio that was talking through him. We don't know. Or maybe it's just a personal beef. But one thing that we know is that Uncle Neda Imaswen is not happy. He's not happy with all the projects that this auntie is doing in her constituency. You know why? Because he is not doing anything. His people have published flashed the video of the road leading to his house. Allegedly new. Don't quote me. Let's watch it together.
My people, this road now leads to Senator Neda Imaswe house. Senator representing Edo South. This is the road. We get senator for this area. Senator Neda Imaswe. See, this camera video now. See road. See road. See road where Senator Neda Imaswe dey. You dey feel the handle woman case for House of Assembly. You dey fast. You dey handle woman case, Natasha case. You dey suspend her. But see your road. Oga come and say make you tell those people what you don't do. Carry camera come. You won't see you go feel say maybe you know the talk for Senate. See, in short, now here be senator house. Now here be house. Senator Neda Imaswe fix the road to your house. Fix your environment.
Meanwhile, Auntie Natasha was not even a lawmaker. She wasn't holding any public office when she started fixing roads in her state. Not just the road that leads to her house, but roads across Kogi Central. She even fixed a federal road. Before becoming a public official. Common road, Oga, you cannot do. But you can harass a woman, a whole senator, a representative of the entire people of Kogi Central. Elijah, you get liver. If anyone should be suspended, actually, let me rephrase that. This man should be removed from office because you cannot share a committee of ethics if you don't have ethics. But that is if we actually believe in ethics in Nigeria. You know, Nigerians abroad, please let this be a lesson. Let's conduct ourselves with excellence. I mean, just look at Help Me Waka.
Spoken to many of the senators, and these are opposition senators, because I can never speak to a ruling party senators. Many of the opposition senators are happy that Natasha was suspended. The reason that they gave was that she got a committee that she did not deserve, which is, you know, the lucrative local content committee. Senator Natasha should, as a matter of, since they have refused to give her fair hearing in the Senate, let her make public credible evidence to back up the claim. It's very easy. The man has said it is a lie. I did not do anything to her. So if there are messages, maybe, oh, please come over to so place, reveal them, expose the man. Do you understand? After all, he who alleges must prove. Why are you protecting the man? But she has to bring more than she has currently offered. Since the Senate, I think they passed a vote of confidence on Akpabio. Was it not yesterday? They permanently shut the door on her. So let her come to the public. If there is evidence, bring it out. If not, it's going to be tagged as his word against her word against his word. When they increased electricity tariff, Senator Natasha and Akpabio did not object. When they were sharing brand new SUVs in National Assembly, Senator Natasha and Akpabio, they did not object. When they increased telecom tariff, they did not object. When they removed fuel subsidy, and this country almost collapsed, because every economic problem we are facing today was a result of the sudden removal of fuel subsidy. Okay, what are the female senators in National Assembly not supporting her? Why did Senator Ereti come out publicly to say what she did is wrong? And they are best of friends. Is it possible for Senator Natasha to be harassed sexually without Senator Ereti knowing? And they are best of friends. They are always together. Do you understand? It's just like saying that a female senator went to harass Akpabio and he did not tell anybody. I spoke to several comrades over this Senator Natasha and Akpabio issue. The majority of them said we will not get involved because this lady is not pro people. Since she got to the National Assembly, she has never for one day stood up to say, oh, the time you went to remove subsidy, what did she say? In fact, it was supposed to be a rally for her in National Assembly that Comrade Hawa was organizing. We got there, very few people. It was the pro-Akpabio people that was all over the place. They were all over the place. And I started talking to people, and people said the reason is because they do not resonate with her, because she has not, if she had defended the Nigerian people when they removed her subsidy, when they did the tariff hikes, when they, all the loans, see, every loan that they want to take, Labour Party, NMPP, PDP, they all support. What kind of opposition is that? There's no opposition in the Senate. There's no anti-people policy in the Senate that they have taken since this government came in, that any of them oppose or objected. They always agree. Now, coming to the first issue, whether she took the matter too far by going to Geneva with the matter. Sincerely speaking, I think since the matter is already in court, left to me, she's a lawyer. I believe every other steps should be paused. And this is what I told her after I made my remarks and I supported her and I made my mind. I said, listen, go to court, go and challenge the decision. That is what lawyers do. Because, and I've spoken to the two female senators. Their issue with her is that they spoke with her and they told her, they said, this is not the way to go about it. And that's why she's not getting any support in the Senate. They told her that do this, do this, do this. I don't want to mention them because they are friends. They have very close friends. And they told her that she should do ABC. Left to me, I believe that I sincerely felt that she didn't have to raise this issue now. She should have raised it after the seat episode. See, if I was in her shoe and the man changed my seat, and I'm sure that he did it out of malice, I will keep quiet. I will allow the issue to pass. Because what many people would think, critical thinkers say, why are you raising him now that he has? First, he removed you from the committee, then he changed your seat. So it will be established that majority of the things that, because the first thing you look at is malice. That, oh, you are raising this issue now. Yes, let's assume without considering that the thing happened. I'm not saying it so that Akpabio will not come and say he wants to issue me a letter to sue me. I'm not saying that it happened. But assuming, but not considering that the thing fully happened. And that's why I had, in my public statement, I said, assuming that the matter is, the allegations isn't frivolous, at least entertain it and treat it. Do you understand? So, assuming I'm not considering that the thing happened, but the timing, you raised it at the time when you were on the receiving end. I will have, because people's seats get changed, although they didn't follow the process in changing her seats. The rule says you must notify her. Do you understand? Notify her a day before sitting that, oh, your seat is going to be changed. Do you understand? And when the presiding officer has the right to change your seat at any time. You understand? And unfortunately, it's their rules. They are the ones that made it. And they have a lot of bad rules in that Senate, their Senate book. Very bad rules.
We had a cancer that almost killed Nigeria. We're almost entering the fourth stage of that cancer, and that was the fuel subsidy issue. You took very prompt action. We may be passing through difficult times now, but the leadership of the National Assembly, with all Nigerians, are very grateful for the bold steps you have taken. And we assure you that despite the sufferings, we will stand by you to ensure that that cancer is totally removed from our midst. We also want to say that so far, the policies you've turned out are such that we are very hopeful that with the right partnership with the three arms of government, that this country will definitely get to the promised land. So tell Mr. President that just like Liverpool Club, the mantra of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that the executive shall never walk alone. You will not walk alone. We'll be there all the way with you. So my dear colleagues, the leadership of the 10th National Assembly, I'm very excited to notice the fact that once you are a member of the House of Representatives or you're a senator, the spirit remains with you forever. That at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator Akpabio or any other woman for that matter. I and my siblings were raised very well by my late single mother. She died in year 2000 through very difficult times, and I therefore have the highest regards for women. Even at demise, I still cry till today. I also wish to state that I also have 4 beautiful daughters. So at no time will I ever harass any woman, and I've never done so. In addition, even as a state governor, I was awarded various awards. One of them was the one you wish to know, the most gender-friendly governor in Nigeria. I served between 2007 and 2015. To God be the glory. In conclusion, I urge all Nigerians, particularly the media, and then, of course, members of the social media, to await the court's decision. And please do not jump to conclusions on matters of mere allegations. And I did not mean what they are misinterpreting in the social media. And I hope this will come to an end. And people should concentrate on things that will move this country forward and not things that will divide us. So I hope the
people are saying that Akpabio is this kind of arrogant that he will not come out to say anything regarding everything that Natasha actually said, the accusation, the allegation, the everything. So because Akpabio never come out to speak about it, a lot of people actually believed everything that Natasha said. Yes, I'm not saying that Natasha is actually lying, and I'm not saying that Akpabio is not lying, but I said something in previous videos. I said the matter between Natasha and Akpabio, the truth of the matter is between God, Akpabio, and Natasha. It is between those 3 parties. Those are the people that know who is saying the truth and who is lying. And whether we like it or not, since Akpabio is opposing what Natasha is saying and Natasha is opposing what Akpabio is saying, the fact remains that one of them is lying and one of them is saying the truth. But the truth will come out soon when Natasha provides the evidence that she claims that she has. And if she did not have an evidence, the other way around will actually happen, because a lot of people are actually putting up that Natasha is not supposed to be suspended and Akpabio will be left in office, that Akpabio is being accused. But why is it that they only suspended Natasha and all of that? So a lot of people are saying that they should call Natasha back to the Halo chamber, that they cannot use power to suppress her and all of that, that if they want to suspend anybody at all, they're supposed to suspend the 2 parties and they should allow other people to represent them. So after the investigation has been done thoroughly, then we will know who is justified and we will know who is lying. Then the person that is lying will be punished severally, while the person that is justified will be allowed to go and all of that. Now, a lot of things is actually happening. The reason why they did not suspend Akpabio and all of that, the excuse that they actually gave was because a lot of ladies are finally come out in different locations in Nigeria, not only limited to Nigeria, in different countries, and they've come out to allege and accuse some men, and by so doing they put the men in trouble, they put them in jail, and some were even sent to prison and some were even poofed. A lot of ladies normally come out to allege that a lot of men actually rape them, and nothing of such actually happened. Just because they want to punish the man or just because they want to get something from the man, they will accuse the man. And the society is kind of women friendly, let me use that, it's kind of women friendly, and when they accuse the man of such a thing, the man will be punished severely. And before you know, even when the matter is being investigated and they notice that the woman was just lying and the man was not guilty of everything, the damage that was done had been done. Nothing can change again. What they have done to the man have been done and nothing can be undone. And the woman in question may be punished in most occasions, but the fact remains the man that had been punished before had been punished. They don't want to take back the suffering again. The punishment that they put on the man, would they want to withdraw it back? It's not possible. So the man have been punished. So that is why they're trying to take their time to investigate the matter. We can't just listen to the one side of the story and all of that. Akpabio came out, he said he's not guilty of anything, that he did not do this thing. That Natasha was actually saying, yes, Akpabio will remain innocent until Natasha provides an evidence. I know a lot of Nigerians will not be okay with what I'm saying at the moment. They will say, oh, maybe Akpabio are paid large. I've never met Akpabio, I don't know Akpabio from anywhere, but we're bringing out our facts and we're analyzing. If you look at what the Jadian you said, the guy is the same thing, you know. Akpabio in question, nobody like him. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love Natasha. I love Natasha so well. But the fact remains, without an evidence, you can't lay a finger on someone that this person did this thing. So I don't think that they just listen to the accusation that Natasha actually accused Akpabio and they passed judgment on Akpabio, or maybe they removed him from the Senate seat or all of that. If that is how it works, a lot of men in Nigeria will be in trouble. Maybe one day a woman can just walk up to me and tell me that I actually sexually harassed her, and by so doing police will pick me up and they lock me up and put me in jail, whereas I never do such a thing. So if that kind of thing should happen, that shows that the society is not men friendly and it's not safe for men. So a lot of people are waiting for Natasha to drop the evidence. Now you can hear the confession that Akpabio actually made. Akpabio made the thorough confession. He said he was trained where he was raised where, that he have not harassed Natasha before, all of that. Nobody know maybe he's saying the truth or not. Nobody know maybe Akpabio is really saying the truth, but he came out to that confession. He said he have not done anything that Natasha was actually accusing of. I know a lot of you might have been looking out for other way around of the confession. Maybe you're expecting Akpabio to come out to confess that, oh, I did it, I did that, I did it, I did that. Yes, but confession remains confession. They have come out to say the confession in another way, that this is my confession, I did not do this thing, I did not do this thing, I did not do what Natasha is saying. That is the confession of Akpabio, and that is what the man is still standing on at the moment until Natasha release evidence. If Natasha can release a concrete evidence, everywhere will shut down. The Senate itself will shut down. Akpabio may possibly leave his seat and all of that, because this is a very, very capital offense and all. So drop your opinion in the comment section on this video. As I'm gonna talk about that another for you, and share, follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at Lajipo Watch TV and Lajipo Entertainment, and on Instagram at Lajipo. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye for now.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip today for body. Pastor with the line on top, he pastor. For Lajipo Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where politician with the do pass himself.
Than a cow. When they ask where are the cows, maybe we should begin to look in government houses for the cows, because even if you hate us so much, shouldn't you worry that the country you are pretending to govern has been turned over to foreign invaders who are brought in for political purpose? How long do you think this cycle that you have energized is going to last before there is a blow up? Exactly how long do you reckon it's going to last? Everywhere you turn, people are being slaughtered. Truth is, I would like to say like cows, but the cows would appear to have primacy over human beings in the Nigeria that has been built under the watch of the APC.
All right, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be allowing you to watch the rest of the video shortly. Our Daily Pharaoh Timmy has actually come out to review a whole lot, because recently a whole lot have been happening in Nigeria, and we all heard about the killings that have been going on in some part of the country, especially Benue State, Plateau State, Ebonyi State, and some other states where these cases have been going on for some time now. Daily Pharaoh Timmy has really exposed what is really happening in Nigeria, especially the headsmen and Fulani act that has been going on for some time, and he really made a point here. I want you guys to pay attention to what he has to say, because it's just really the fact. Please do as well to drop a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and with that being said, stay tuned, guys.
Important thing is this: in this last week, Yorubas in Akure, same Akure, had occasion to troop out in their numbers to protest the insecurity occasioned again, the Fulani again, they said. Enugu people were crying out about being butchered on their farms. It would appear that almost everywhere across the length and breadth of Nigeria in the last week, it's been one killing after the other, all linked in one way or the other to the Fulani people. This has not just, it didn't start yesterday. It's something that's been ongoing, it's been happening for a while. Every time you hear of one ethnic cleansing, one mother or the other, the Fulanis are mentioned. So this last week, I've had my mind preoccupied with cows, the Fulanis, the obvious war of conquest and invasion going on, and the seeming complicity, not even seeming, the obvious complicity of the state that seems to continue to ask, where are the cows? Because nobody appears to be treating these as anything close to what it should be treated as. Because obviously, Nigeria is a country under siege. So as I started thinking about these, I remembered the narratives offered by Kawu Baraje, the former national secretary, I believe, of the APC. This is reported in Business Day of the 2nd of August, 2022. Baraje was speaking at the occasion of his 70th birthday. And he said, on record, that in the lead up to the 2015 election, they, as the APC, imported Fulanis from Sierra Leone, from Mali, from Senegal, from Niger, and from Chad. He was very specific. He did not mention any other ethnic nationality. He spoke specifically of the Fulani. He said they imported Fulanis from Sierra Leone, Mali, Senegal, Niger, and Chad. I'm not sure if we had influxes from Equatorial Guinea or if the ones in other parts were equally invited, but it was specific. And in 2015, a rabid Fulani redentist and a Muslim fanatic was elected president of Nigeria. Baraje was very, very clear in also saying that the people they invited, they also harmed. Let me repeat myself. Go to the Business Day newspaper of August 2, 2022. I am quoting Kawu Baraje. He was part of the foundation of the APC. He was the factional chairman of the breakaway PDP that was part of the foundation of the APC. There are recorded confessions on TikTok, on YouTube, almost every social media platform. You'll find Fulani people telling you. There is one particular one I watched myself where the guy was like, look, AK-47, that they don't use it to shepherd their cows, that these were given to them. He was specific in saying that. He's on record. A friend shared a story with me, and I think he also posted these on social media. She rather, a farmer. And she recounted how she was farming somewhere in Oyo State, somewhere around Akpabio. I went to school in Fiditi, which incidentally is my mother's village, for those idiots who are saying my mother is Igbo or this. Anyways, in Akpabio, if you know Fiditi and his axis, you know that that is on the road to Oyo, after it's between Oyo and Ibadan. So that's deep in the heartlands of Yoruba land. And this woman says that immediately after the harvest season, the Fulanis would come. These are Fulanis who have lived in the community for decades. They will come, graze their cattle. In grazing their cattle, the droppings from the cattle would help to fertilize the field. The hooves will break the soil, and it was a mutually beneficial relationship. And these Fulanis would help, and they would give them fura and wara, and people had a mutually beneficial relationship. And when the cows grazed on people's farm, there was also a key, easy way of fixing the problems, they will pay reparations. They had peaceful coexistence. And then this woman told me that after a point, the Fulani came, the leader of the local Fulani who would graze on her fields came to her to say, look, I'm leaving. There are some new Fulanis in the environment. I cannot coexist with them. And the man left with his family, somebody who had lived in the neighborhood well in excess of 20, 30 years. He left with his family. And not long after, there was this new influx of Fulani people who wouldn't even hear any language and were never ready to discuss peace. Every little infraction turned into fights, and these ones were acting more like conquerors than neighbors. She abandoned her farm. This story is over 10 years old. I used to farm, and I had farms in Ijebu. For those of you who are familiar with Ijebu, I had farms in Telubomi and Abude, just behind Akoje Farm Settlement. I had cocoa farms running into tens of acres. I was forced to abandon my farm over 10 years ago because of Fulani activities in the neighborhood. Over 10 years ago. The fact is that this has been an insidious conquest. It has happened with the complicity of the state. And because of the complicity of the state, a lot of us have been slow to admit to the fact that Nigeria is in the grip of an insurgency, ably supported by our government and the rulers of Nigeria. General Laumi was on national TV, on channels, and he said on the record that since 2016, a list of sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria had been given to Buhari as the president. He said in that interview that the sponsors of terrorism included governors, persons in the cabinet of the president. Nothing ever happened to them. The UAE caught sponsors, financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, and they sent them to prison in the UAE. And then they sent a corresponding list of sponsors who are in Nigeria to the Nigerian government, over 300. Nothing ever happened to them. But the same government is always quick to jail 17-year-olds on trumped-up charges. The same government, the same system is always available to persecute those who might make the error of asking to be citizens. My friend, Dr. Calvin Stanley, told me that almost on a daily basis, somebody is killed on the plateau. That 164 settlements on the plateau have been taken as conquered territory, resettled by Fulani marauders after the indigenous people have been driven off the land. A person told me how she gave up a mining license, or at least her interest in the mining license, when she found out that for her to be able to work the concession she was given, she would have had to be in bed with terrorists who are usually employed in the mining industry to drive out the indigenous people from the land holding the resources. And we still begin to ask, where are the cows? Dr. Calvin told me that there is a base for Fulani terrorists in the tri-state area, Benue, I think this is between Benue, Nasarawa, and Plateau, somewhere around that place, that there is a base. And he said it on national TV as well, by the way, that this base is known to all of our security agencies that helicopters land there to drop off ammunition and material, that the security forces are aware and they've done nothing about it. He is on record. He is on record, on public record, and we are still asking, where are the cows? In this last week, I came across the interview given by the old soldier, Brigadier Kogun. Brigadier Togun. He was on Edmond Obilo's show, and he was talking about his experience as the Amotekun Corps commander in Oyo State. General Togun spoke of the difficulties and challenges that were placed on his path by those who were determined to ensure that he did not succeed as the Corps commander. He spoke extensively, very extensively, about how he was prevented from recruiting certain classes of personnel. How he was frustrated and not given the material required. And then he spoke even more alarmingly of the multiple Fulani camps that are inside the forests of the Southwest. And then I remember Obadiah Malafia's word before he was murdered. He spoke extensively to pretty much the same thing. And then it now becomes important to ask ourselves some questions. Who are the cows? I believe that there are many cows in this sorry story. The victims have been treated as cows, or even worse, by those herding cows, slaughtered less reverently than they would have slaughtered cows. I see pictures coming out of Bokos. I see multiple pictures coming out of the Middle Belt. I see the pictures coming out of Akure, coming out of Enugu, coming out from almost every part of this beleaguered land. Men and women, children, slaughtered less reverently than cows. So we, Nigerians, who have been denied citizenship are the ones who have now been reduced to cows. We're treated like cows, as if we don't matter, like our lives count for nothing. What is the value of the Nigerian life if 16 persons said to be hunters in Uromi caused national outrage, rightly so, but the gruesome murder on a daily basis of more people has been normalized as though they are not humans? A state exists. Its president is on a vacation in France, even a working vacation in France, but the president of France is visiting Egypt. Make it make sense to me, because I don't understand these things, but in the country that the person governs or pretends to govern, people are being slaughtered with nary a reaction. And we are still asking, who are the cows? Apparently, the Nigerian is less than a cow in the eye of the Nigerian state. Much less than a cow. When they ask where are the cows, maybe we should begin to look in government houses for the cows, because even if you hate us so much, shouldn't you worry that the country you are pretending to govern has been turned over to foreign invaders who are brought in for political purpose How long do you think this cycle that you have energized is going to last before there is a blow up? Exactly how long do you reckon it's going to last? Everywhere you turn, people are being slaughtered. Truth is, I would like to say like cows, but the cows would appear to have primacy over human beings in the Nigeria that has been built under the watch of the APC. There is nobody else to blame for this. This is on the table of the APC. This is not just about Tinubu. It's not just Tinubu. It's the APC. Everyone, and when I say APC, a lot of those who are responsible for this have left APC today. They've gone back to their PDP or they've gone to the SDP, like that short monkey from Kaduna. Where are they today? All over. So essentially, this has been done with the sanction of the political class. Nigeria is under attack. Let's be clear. Let us be clear. This is a state-sponsored war of conquest against the Nigerian people by foreign Fulanis brought into this country by the APC. That is the gospel truth, the stubborn truth, and the sooner we all wrap our brains around this and begin to demand that the APC and the government, whether you are APC, whether you are PDP, doesn't even matter. If you are in a position where you are meant to be the protector of the people because you are functionaries of the state, whose first duty is the protection of the people, it shouldn't matter where this threat is coming from, who brought it in. The reality is that Nigeria is in the grip of a war of conquest. The state is failing. It is failing horribly. At a time when the state is under attack by persons brought into the country by those who are governing the country today, the president is away on holiday. The director of the DSS is telling us that we are the ones who protect ourselves. Jackson, who fought back in self-defense because his life was in imminent threat, not just threat, he was already stabbed, overpowered his attacker and stabbed back. And our Supreme Court sentenced him to death. If that wasn't self-defense, what is? So, in a situation where the foreign invaders have been offered immunity and impunity, what is the lot of the Aborigines? Our forests are not they're not no man's land. Those are sacred forests. They belong to some people. They are lands belonging to people. When you brought foreign terrorists, people who had no land of their own, to come into our country, to come and take land, you become complicit in the multiple murders that have taken place in pursuit of their purpose. No wonder they were saying that we should ask our president what he agreed with them. Nigeria is under attack. There is no sugarcoating it. These are foreign Fulanis who are not aborigines to Nigeria, who sees Nigeria as their patrimony, and they have been brought into the country under the auspices of the APC and have been largely protected and supported by the same APC. Because how else do you explain where are the cows? Eventually, the cows were found because the killers of Antifunke just happened to be the Fulanis that the statement was meant to excuse. Where are the cows? The question should be, who are the cows? Who? Are we now cows, or are we being ruled by cows who fail to see what should be in their own enlightened selfish interest? I will live and I will die. Tinubu will live and he will die. All of us will live and someday we will go, but what we have done will live beyond us. How can it be that those who have the sacred duty to protect the people are the ones who have become the enemies of the people, sponsoring all kind of terror against the people? And we are always asking, where are the cows? Let the government tell us if we have become as cows, or if they are the cows who are failing to see that they are failing in their duties. But when you are asking who the cows are, or where the cows are, also ask yourself, where is your brain in this imagined scenario? Are you able to see what is obvious, or you are still denying the obvious because of your ethno-religious or partisan interest? The truth is the truth, regardless of who believes or do not believe it. But the truth does not cure the willfully ignorant. I hope I have spoken to people who still have the capacity to think on their own and to draw inferences, logical inferences from the truthful facts that are in front of them. I've said my own. I have said my own. You say your own. Just as I promised, we have the final draft of the Electoral Reform Bill. It will go out tomorrow morning so that we get your comments and your inputs. I know that it is easy to say that nothing will change. The House of Reps will not do anything. The Senate will not do anything. Yeah, I actually don't expect them to do anything about it. But I expect you to do something about it. If we are truly in a democracy, if this is truly a democracy, we start finding out, don't you think? How else do you find out but by trying to see if your will as a collective will prevail? We will submit the bill when we are all done having a chance to take a look. And when we have submitted that bill, we would await their response based on the clearly submitted timeline. And if we don't get it, we would organize to confront. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. Nobody serves you freedom a la carte. Just like this. Grabbed it, snatched it, grabbed it, and ran with it. That is how you take power. And when you are looking for your freedom, you must be prepared for sacrifices. We will circulate the bill. We'll go through the bill by ourselves. When we're satisfied that we have what we need, we'll take it before them. Let them say no. Then we will say yes. And then we'll see whose voice is higher than the other. Gentlemen, my people will say, Aboro, as of Amoluabi, half a word is enough for the wise. But there is also another proverb that is very succinct and speaks to our situation. The cripple who is forewarned cannot be killed in a war. You have been forewarned. You have the luxury, especially those of us in the Southwest, in the South generally, we have the luxury of being forewarned. Those on the front lines, people of Bokos, whose land on the plateau are being daily resettled in what is apparently and clearly an ethnic cleansing. They are the ones on the front line. They don't have the luxury of warnings. We, having been warned, have the duty not only to prepare, but to speak up. And an inability to speak to your condition imperils you. Speak. Stop allowing your tongue to cleave to the roof of your mouth on account of ethnicity or religion or partisanship. Open your eyes. Look. Open your eyes. There is a conquest going on. And those who should be defending us are complicit in selling us. Get that clear. I'm gonna see you next week.
This is why people, have regional rule. When you go to China and other developed nations, they operate regionalism. Because when you go to China, there are some areas that are predominantly Muslims. About 25% of the Chinese population are Muslim. They understood their diversities and their differences and made sure that they operated a system of government that actually suits their own ideologies and differences. And that is why China is progressing on other nations. In Nigeria, they actually went and put us in loggerhead and forcefully put us in this unitary system of government. Now look at the news that a prominent Nigerian Islamic cleric, being Ibrahim Jalango, calls for execution of those who leave Islam, believe in more than one God, and cite Quranic verses. This is a pure Islamization agenda in the country. You know, this is not the first time a lot of people have been saying that we must actually find a system of government that suits ideology. Let those people who really wants to practice this kind of thing, you know, be in one region, and let others who do not, who wants liberalism and, you know, who wants advancement in technology and other development, be on other region. We can't keep on, you know, going the same round peg hole in 2025. Remember, in this same
National Assembly, a senator from the northern, or some senators in the northern part of the country, came out to propose a bill that will expand Sharia law across the country. You keep on wondering, when nations are talking about nanotechnology, the use of AIs and co, Nigeria is still dwelling on the issues of Islamization, Sharia laws, Fulani headsmen, this and that. You keep on wondering, are we even making progress in this country? Because it seems as if we are holding ourselves back. What dominates our political discourse is not religious sentiments and discussions. This person is my tribe's person, is an Igbo, is a Yoruba, is a Hausa, is a Northerner, is this and that. That is the only thing that dominates our political discourse. When you go to the National Assembly and the House of Rep, the only thing they do is views on this and that and that. No sensible view, no sensible development has actually come to this particular country, and that is why we are still the way we are today. Let me read in proper context, so you could see what we're saying. They said prominent Nigerian Islamic cleric, being Ibrahim Jalango, calls for the execution of those who leave Islam, believe in more than one God, cite Quranic verses. They said Sheikh Dr. Ibrahim Jalingo, the national chairman of the Council of Ulama Jibus, Nigeria, has called for the execution of those who leave Islam for another religion. He is making it publicly. He's not hiding. And you know, when you live in a country whereby the security agencies cannot pick up this particular person for making such, you know, insightful statement and dangerous statement, you would know that there's no need actually operating this unitary system of government, that security agencies will see this kind of a hate speech or dangerous comment and let it go and slide. Let's go ahead. They said in a controversial post on his Facebook page on Thursday that Jalingo reignited a contentious debate on apostasy and religious conversion. Jalingo, an outspoken cleric within the Islamic community, declared that whoever changes his religion should be pied, citing a hadith attributed to Prophet Muhammad. They said the statement was made in response to a criticism from a user identified as Masusuka, who had questioned the authenticity of the hadith, claiming that it contradicts the Quran. The hadith in question, look at what the hadith in the Quran, the hadith that this particular cleric quoted, that, you know, thinks, the hadith that he thinks empowers him to make such controversial statement. He said the hadith in question said, whoever changes his religion, then by him. You could see it boldly written here, has been a point of contention among Islamic scholars for centuries, with varying interpretations regarding its relevance and applications in modern times. Well, before we go further ahead with this particular, you know, article, people should understand that the era of war and the era of violent, you know, conversion and co have actually passed. Things happen within eras. There are eras whereby religious fights and actually this and, you know, battles and actually happen and all that. These laws are outdated, they are obsolete, and they have no place in modern day world. So anybody that is preaching such thing should be apprehended, arrested, and even prosecuted. I can boldly tell you this for free. Let's go ahead. He said in his post that Sheikh Jalingo responded by asserting that the hadith does not contradict the teachings of the Quran. He emphasized that the Quran, in verses such as Surah, as, you know, Tawbah 9:5 and Surah, you know, he explicitly permits the eyeing of polytheists and apostates, meaning those who believe in more than one God, being polytheists, should actually be eyed. In a country like Nigeria, he's making this statement, and this is an influential person in the northern part. And when you see issues of blasphemy, cases of Deborah, who was actually, lynched by some angry, Islamic extremists in the northern part of the country, these are the people that are actually inciting them. They didn't get those knowledge or ideas or those violent perceptions from nowhere. This is a gradual teaching that comes from these, so-called, scholars who are just extremists, parading themselves as Islamic scholars and all that. Let's go ahead. According to Jalingo, these verses justify the execution of individuals who abandon Islam and convert to another. In his own words, look at what this particular man said. Only an ignorant person like Masuka would claim that the hadith, whoever changes his religion, kill him, contradicts the Quran, Jalingo said. In fact, the Quran itself not only permits the killing of those who commit apostasy, but even allows the buying of all polytheists. He further argued that the verse, "There is no compulsion in religion," has been abrogated by the aforementioned verses, which he believes more clearly dictates the treatment of apostates. Jalingo also referenced the principle of nask or abrogation within Quranic revelations to support his stance. Well, in summary, this man is supporting that if you convert from Islam to other faith, that you deserve a capital punishment. And not just that, for those who believe in more than one God should equally, be pied. And this is the kind of country we live. This is a well-known, influential cleric in the northern part who has a lot of influence and audience. So imagine the amount of people he has brainwashed with his teachings. This is just part of his teachings that came to public or came to the public domain. We don't know what he has been doing secretly, or the kind of violent and toxic teachings he has actually been inculcating in some of his students. Let's take the comments of some people before we discuss other things. They said, if they don't arrest this man, I will lose 100% faith in Nigeria, and we see every Nigerian leader and police as jokers. Of course, people in the Western world are not seeing us as jokers once we mention I am from Nigeria. Nigerians in North America are not ashamed due to all this rascality and impunity happening in Nigeria. The people that actually buy the border, how many of them have been publicly prosecuted? If you want to, polish your integrity and make it to standards, the world must actually see how proactive and how ruthless you are in handling such cases. The border killers and all that, till today, nobody knows if they've been prosecuted and all that. So don't expect too much that this particular man will be actually be, arrested or prosecuted for making such an insightful statement. This is Nigeria, I can tell you. Don't expect too much. So I understand what this person is saying. He said he will lose faith in Nigeria if the police do not arrest this particular man. But I can tell you, do not even put much hope that the Nigerian police will actually arrest this particular man. It could actually be swept under the carpet. This other person said, this is a very dangerous talk from a very dangerous man and has to be carefully looked into. Speech like this ought not to be made public, as it can influence violence from radicals who will rely on it and start buying people. Religion is a private thing, and therefore all religious thoughts should be kept private in people. So I said, that's also what's written in the Bible. At least Muslims read and believe in Quranic teachings, while Christians hypocritically hide some verses of the Bible and preaches their desires. Even though we are not practicing Sharia, no one will stop us from reading our book. It concerns us. You can see that some people are boldly supporting what he's saying. Like that's why I've often called for original form of government. Yes, if you believe this is what you want to practice in your religion, yes, practice it in your religion. So people who do not, find solace or find comfort in the way you practice your religion and all that, wouldn't come to your religion. Rather, they will actually opt for religions that conforms to their own ideology and their own liberalism and all that. You can see that some people are even supporting this particular radical teaching given by this particular man. This person said that's a deeply troubling stance. People should be free to choose their beliefs without fear. We are in a diverse country, and pushing such views publicly only stirs division and violence. People are actually commenting, and people are not happy with the way this entire issue went about. I can boldly and literally tell you for free. Well, that's all for that. Let's talk about how Atiku Abubakar visited the Muhammadu Buhari today, a few days ago, with in company of Erufai and Co. I've often known one thing. When you see these politicians moving from this to this, it is all about their own selfish interest. It is all about their own selfish interest. The same set of human beings that have governed this country are the same set of human beings that are actually governing us till today. Atiku Abubakar, who has been vying and contesting for a seat of presidency, Erufai, all of them, the same old order and old set of politicians. They still want to grab power. And I believe in what P2B said, that if the coalition or the merger they want or the intent forming is just to grab power, that is not in for it. And this is basically the truth. Most of all these political talks and political movements you are seeing here and there is just for them to grab power. And when they grab the power, they will literally not know anything to do with it, because they don't have a template on how to develop the nation. They don't even have the nation at heart. It is more about their own selfish political interest and ambition. So when you see Atiku Abubakar and Co. moving here and there, moving like this and that, it is for their own selfish interest. I can boldly tell you this for free. yes, Nigeria is not doing better under this particular leadership of Bola Tinubu and all that. But Nigerians should be aware that nobody will actually come out and save them if they don't come out to save themselves. That these politicians you are seeing regrouping themselves, most of them have been in APC before. Look at this Erofai, who was part and parcel of people who brought Tinubu to power. In fact, there was nothing literally he didn't say against this Akpabio and P2B. Now he is actively working against Tinubu because Tinubu ignored him and refused to give him a political appointment and all that. Now he's actively criticizing Bola Tinubu as if he was not. In fact, he single-handedly brought Bola Tinubu and convinced the North to vote for Tinubu. He even fought this Buhari that he went to visit because there were rumors that Buhari didn't support or probably endorse Tinubu's presidency. Erufai took it upon himself to galvanize and rally around the northern politicians and all that to support Bola Tinubu. Now he's actually working against him. So it is more of their own political interests and their political battles, and not about the citizens. It's never about the citizens. Rather, it is for their own selfish political reasons and political purposes. So I think Abaka went to visit. Probably they want to seek the blessings of Muhammad Buhari, to see if Buhari will endorse and give them his blessings ahead of 2027. Like I said, 2027 elections have started. People are asking P2B, how is P2B gonna do? Is he contesting again? Is he going to form a major political party with Atiku Abubakar and Erufai, as the rumors have it? But the truth of the matter is that people are telling P2B, be careful. That these people might want to just use you and dump you. You might agree to form a major political party with these people, and when the time for primaries on who to represent or be the party's flag bearer comes, they might actually dwindle you, rig the election within the party level and rig you out, and by then you wouldn't have any other structure because it would have been late for you to move or migrate to any other political party. So people are telling people to be, if you have intentions to contest, be careful of this Atiku Abubakar and Erufai political measure that they are trying to lure you into. Their plans are not clear. This is what a lot of people are telling to Mr. P2B. Well, on another developing story, this Fulani herdsmen attack is one of the reasons why I've said that we must return back to the general form of government. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You could see a community in Benue State that are running away from their own ancestral land because of what the activities and the attacks from these herdsmen. And people have kept on wondering what hinders the government from putting a permanent ban on open grazing. It's because these politicians are scared. They want the northern block, the vote that comes from the northern part, and they know that if they place a ban on open grazing, that the northern populace will actually fight against them and not give them their votes in the 2027 election. So that is why most of them are playing to the gallery. They don't want to take a decisive decision against this, which is a very simple sum: to put a ban on open grazing and order that whoever wants to rear cows or anything must practice ranching, which is what other developed countries do, which is what virtually all developed countries in the world do. But in Nigeria, they are politicizing every single thing. They're enjoying the bloodbath, they're enjoying the controversies, they're enjoying every single thing. If it's not in Benue, it's in Enugu. If it's not in Enugu, it's in Ondo. If it's not in Ondo, it's in Plateau. These things have kept on going. If it's not in Plateau, it's in Edo State. These same herdsmen. And if a sensible government, I've seen that over the years, for more than a decade now, this bloodbath has continued. Even our farmers have left their farms. The best thing they should have done is to say enough is enough, and I'm putting a permanent ban on open grazing, and that will be the end. I can boldly hit my chest and tell you this: the end of this entire controversy and senseless killings by these people and controversies. I can boldly and literally tell you this for free. Well, that's all we have for you guys. Please, I would like you guys to drop a comment in the comment section. Do well to like. It will cost you absolutely nothing to tap on the like button so that this particular video will go viral, and YouTube algorithm will actually make it go viral. So please do well to like this particular video and make it go viral. See you guys later, and drop your comments respectfully with respect to this particular.
A welcome development, although it is coming very late, but nevertheless it is still better than nothing. A U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. has just ordered the FBI, DEA, and other agencies that investigated Tinubu back in the early 90s for his drug-related offenses, which of course he ended up forfeiting $460,000 to the U.S. government. The court ordered them to release all confidential information concerning the investigation of Tinubu, everything they have on him, to Alan Greenspan and David Hundeyin. Remember, back in June 2023, Alan Greenspan filed a case, a Freedom of Information request, but the FBI, the CIA, and other agencies that investigated Tinubu kept foot dragging,
As a matter of fact, they ended up releasing redacted files on Tinubu, which when you see these files, it doesn't make any sense. You can't make out any information from these documents. Now that this court has ordered them to release everything under the new administration of Donald Trump, Nigerians will now see the real history of Tinubu, what he has been hiding all along. Remember, he even came to court to argue that releasing this information will harm his reputation. A little background about how Tinubu was busted by the FBI and the DEA. One of his associates, named Agbele, was busted by the DEA. One agent posed as a buyer of heroin and he sold heroin to him. He was eventually arrested, and when questioned, he agreed to play ball and cooperate with the agents. That was how they started investigating, and eventually it led to Tinubu. The agents will go on to discover that proceeds of heroin to the tune of $460,000 were being held by Tinubu in his bank accounts. That was how he ended up forfeiting $460,000 to the US government. And mind you, Tinubu's FBI, DEA, and even CIA files would have been released much earlier, if not for the foot dragging of the Biden administration. But now that a new sheriff is in town, Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about anyone. They are not interested in protecting anyone. Nigerians can now see the history of Tinubu. And many might be wondering, especially non-Nigerians, how this ever happened. How in the world did this man with so much baggage ever get the topmost job in Nigeria? Well, it wasn't as if this wasn't known even before the 2023 presidential election. Many politicians are aware, but in a country where selfish interest comes first before national interest, all the power brokers in Nigeria, they're only interested in their selfish interest, what they can gain from the system. They are not interested in development. They are not interested in anything that will change this country, that will turn around the fortunes of Nigerians. So they knew all this, but they still chose to work for him, to campaign for him, to make him the president. Just like El-Rufai released in one of the interviews, he was aware, they were all aware of his baggage, what he did when he was hustling in the US, but they still chose to work for him just because of political interest. Just because politics is tribal, they decided to repay him for the support he gave them when Buhari contested in 2015 and 2019. They felt that the agreement must be rewarded so as to protect themselves in the future, so that they won't be seen as people who don't keep agreements. But in reality, if elections are free and fair in Nigeria, all agreements that politicians make can't hold any water, because ultimately it is the electorate that decides who is the president. They decide who will lead them if elections are truly free and fair. This is why they do everything. They commit all sorts of atrocities, commit all sorts of impunities to make sure they achieve their dreams. All that they agreed on, they use all sorts of methods, including abuse of powers. They do everything they can to make sure they achieve whatever they want to achieve. This is why Nigeria is not working. Nigeria is under captive by all sorts of individuals. Politics is very transactional in Nigeria. Virtually everyone has a price. Name that price and you will be bought, and you clear the way for them to achieve what they want to achieve. Is it the judiciary? They have a price, and a very low price for that matter. Anything you want them to decide, they will do it as fast as possible once you pay. Yes, it's very evident, because they would have stopped all this mess. Not just that they didn't win the election, no, the election was fraudulent. And there were many Supreme Court precedents that the court would have used to stop him. But no, they overruled themselves, and in many cases rewrote the Nigerian constitution just to wave him through. So this is what Nigerians have to deal with. Another thing is that the man they did all this for is not even competent. Look at the way he is punishing everyone. He has virtually destroyed everything. Everything is worse than he met it. All metrics, economy, security, name them. So imagine they did all this for a competent person. Nigerians would have endured. They would have said, despite the fact that outsiders might be mocking us and saying, why did we choose this person that has a checkered past? Someone that forfeited drug money totaling $460,000 to the US government. Out of more than 200 million people, we couldn't find someone else to lead Nigeria. except someone who forfeited drug money. Yes, Nigerians would have endured. Nigerians are nice people. They would have said, let's manage with him. After all, he's doing the job. Yes, the job is most important thing. If you are delivering on all metrics, the economy is improving, it is growing, security challenges are going down. But no, the reverse is the case. While Tinubu keeps telling Nigerians to have patience that very soon all his so-called economic reforms will start to materialize and all the sufferings will end, he is busy traveling around the world. In fact, he has spent close to 3 months in France alone. Someone that has been in office for close to 2 years. In May 2025, it will be 2 years he came to power, but he has lived in France for 3 months. Can you imagine this? In fact, now that he's currently in France, when he arrived there, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, actually left France to Egypt. Can you imagine such a humiliation? A head of state came to another country, and the head of state of that country traveled to another country. So it doesn't make any sense. Don't they have shame? Can't they respect themselves for once? If you don't respect yourself, another person will not respect you. That's how it works. This happened under Buhari's administration. At a time, King Charles had to tell him, do you have a house in London? He started denying, I don't have any house. The only house I have is the one in Kaduna, in Katsina. He didn't understand the question. He was trying to tell him, you've been coming to London every time. Every time I see you in London, it seems as if you now live in London. That was exactly the joke, but he didn't understand it. So it's time to build Nigeria so that Nigerian leaders can start vacationing in Nigeria. They can start holidaying in many holiday hotspots in Nigeria. They can start taking their medicals in Nigeria. Instead of taking all that money, thousands of dollars or millions of dollars to countries that are already well developed, we need that money more than these countries, but they keep moving the money to them. These are the same leaders that will turn around and tell Nigerians to buy made in Nigerian goods. They don't buy made in Nigerian goods. Don't use Nigerian hospitals. Everything they use, everything they engage in, everything they buy, all their shopping happen abroad. So how can Nigeria develop when Nigerian leaders don't even have confidence in Nigeria? The chief market of Nigeria keeps telling foreign investors to come and invest in Nigeria, but it doesn't have confidence in the same Nigeria. Charity should begin at home. If you don't have confidence in your own country, why would another person have more confidence in that country? It doesn't work. They also don't have confidence in their aides. All the people around them that continue to defend them every day, they don't have confidence in them because it doesn't make any sense. Why can't they equip the Asoro clinic to be like the ones abroad where they go to have their medicals? It can be done in Nigeria if they have an iota of confidence in anyone around them. But because they are not doing the right thing, because of corruption, they never trust any single individual. That's why they can't have their medicals in Nigeria.
Celestia Half Hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.